what's up? This is Rod from TechGuideSmartBuy.com, and today we're talking about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. We got our unit a little bit late, closer to embargo, so we like, why rush it? Let's spend some time with it. So here we are, nearly 1 month later, using it in various real-world testings. Let's get into it. So in case you're unfamiliar with this and want to know what's the big deal about it, this is the world's first foldable that offers IP68 rating. So previously foldables had IP67, which means it had some sort of water resistance. This adds dust resistance to the mix. So that means little particles, lint and sand and other little things won't easily get inside here and ruin any type of folding thing. I participated in my son's color run, not a real color run, it's a kid's color run. I took this with me, recorded video, took some pictures, no case, and it was fine. And another thing worth noting is that Google implemented a new gearless hinge for the 10 Pro Fold, as opposed to last year with your traditional hinge. Google quotes that this can help it last up to a decade of opening and closing your phone. And all the Pixel 10 phones offer the same great OLEDs as before, but a little bit brighter. The outer screen gets a little bit bigger, going from 6.3 to 6.4 inches with 3000 nits of maximum brightness, while the interior 8-inch display stays the same and retains its 2700 nits of brightness, which is fine. And all the screens give you bright, punchy colors, amazing contrast, and deep blacks one would expect from a stellar OLED panel. There is a slightly noticeable crease in the middle, but it doesn't take long to blend into the background after a short period of use. However, moving forward, I would love to see those bezels on that 8-inch screen get a little smaller. Google's latest foldable is powered by the company's Tensor G5 chip, which performs marginally better than last year's model. For the basics of the everyday stuff, the multitasking, phone calls, the host of software and AI features that Google has to offer, nails it, no problem. The only area that you will notice that this is not a Snapdragon processor is when you're doing high-end level gaming. Call of Duty Mobile is my usual litmus test. And I did have a few occasions where it would stutter or lag a bit in the lobby, but not during the actual game where it actually got me killed. But still, for those who game on their phone, that's definitely a huge problem. However, for regular gaming, like the Asphalt racing game, the Pro Fold had no issues with that. And despite the Pixel 10 Pro Fold looking just like the 9 Pro Fold, we get a noticeable upgrade in the battery department. We have a 5015 milliamp battery, which is larger than the 4650 milliamp battery on the 9 Pro Fold. Google quotes it having a 24-hour battery life. I can honestly say after almost 4 weeks with it, pretty much lives up to the claim. So using it light and moderately, I was able to get almost 48 hours on a single charge. But using it a lot heavier, I still was able to last an entire day, like 16 hours of juice on a single charge with 8 hours of on-screen time. That's plugging it at 7 a.m. and plugging it in to get charged at 2% at about 11:20 p.m. Other than getting bigger, the battery actually charges a little bit faster with 30-watt wire charging and still have 15-watt wireless charging, which is fine. So which can charge your phone up to 50% in 30 minutes when using a 30-watt or faster charging brick. It also shares Google's Pixelsnap feature, which is basically Qi2 magnets built in within the device, in the back of the device, kind of like what Apple did with MagSafe. So yes, Google is the first phone outside of iPhone to do that. So now, if you have pop sockets or any other MagSafe accessories, they work with this, no problem. You don't need to add anything, change anything. Car phone mounts, everything. And of course, the Pixel, we got to talk about the cameras. So Google made sure to update the main camera to a 48 megapixel wide shooter. It can capture fantastic, versatile, and reliable results. So photos of plants, food, macro shots, low light images, full of crisp details, accurate colors, and punchy saturation. Actually helps this foldable feel a little more worthy of the Pro name, because last year with 9 Pro Fold, the cameras didn't feel pro enough. At least with the main camera, that's not an issue. Unfortunately, since other lenses didn't get upgraded, the quality can drop a bit with a bit more noise, especially in low light situations for the ultra wide, the telephoto, and front facing cameras. Hopefully within the next year or two, Google and its engineering team can figure out how to upgrade all the cameras to get to a nice pro level. ProRes zoom not being on here is a bit of a crime, but I get it. But even with all that said aside, this is still the best camera on a foldable, at least in the US anyway. See this? It's called Made You Look. So it's an animated image that kind of captures children's attention so you can grab an image. This is honestly my favorite feature on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. I'm a father of 2. My youngest is 3 years old, so getting them to take pictures are a bit troublesome. So that's not new. That was on the 9 Pro Fold, but here they've added a few more animations that weren't here before. It gets your attention. It offers sounds, so like bubbles and little blips and blops to kind of get their attention. So yeah. Google added a new UI in regards to its split screen multitasking to decide how big or small you want each screen to be. So for example, you can have 2 screens up, 2 apps running, they run seamlessly, but you can decide if you want to have 75% of one app showing and 25% or vice versa, or you can make it a little smaller, a little bit bigger. So you can do a little bit more than the 50-50, one app on each screen. Now, what myself and I'm sure plenty of others wish that Google would just leave the taskbar section available. When you're multi-screen, you have to like swipe up to kind of access it. This is only their 3rd foldable, so keep that in mind. In regards to the many laundry list of growing software and AI features that the Pixel 10 Pro Fold has to offer, we talk about it in our Pixel 10 video. Well, Pixel 10 family, the rest of them, the 10, the 10 Pro, the 10 Pro XL. We'll have a link for that up here and as well in the description below. So, is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold worth getting after spending a month with it? If you're into the Pixel and Google ecosystem and you have the money and you're looking to get it, go for it. But keep in mind there are compromises. And not just with this, that goes for any other foldable. So for here, it's more of the high-end gaming. And some people may or may not like the design situation. It may be too thick, the bezels might be too large. But for the most part, I think your camera and your battery life and then just everyday use, it's a great phone. Samsung, on the other hand, it's definitely a better looking foldable, but the battery life is a little shorter. The cameras don't match up to this, so, but you can play high-end gaming on it. And then it's also like $200 more, or retail anyway. Are you willing to make these compromises regardless of the price? I hope that helps you decide should you pick one up or not. I'm actually happy with it. I like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, but I think with the better battery and the camera situation, it feels a lot better. I'm definitely curious to see what Google does with the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. So that's our 2 cents. Let us know what you think in the comments. We will have affiliated links in the description below. And as always, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate you for doing so, and see you in the next video. Peace.